Good morning and welcome to Follow Your Brush. And this is Pam. It's your first time with me. Guess what? I'm actually painting today. I'm not showing you any products or anything of that nature. I am painting. I haven't painted online for a while and I thought, well, maybe I need to do that. Yes, there is no paint on this brush. I am just dabbing some water on here because I like to start that way sometimes. This is your first time following me. Thanks for being here. And oops, looks like there might be a little bit of a shadow. Sorry about that. Try to avoid that. But what I'm doing today, this is a huge, large sheet of Arches 300-pound cold press paper. Now, when I say 300 pound, that means this is really thick. Look at that. It's actually maybe even thicker than like if you were to buy a poster board for a science project for school. And it holds the water and the moisture and gives you a lot of time to paint. Today, I am working on this painting, and as you can see, I didn't just start. I started this actually a couple weeks ago, and then I kind of departed from it and has been drying, and I'm coming back today. So I thought, well, I'll just take you along a little bit of my adventure. I'm using my fabulous, wonderful brush from Lebenzon. It's a bamboo handle, which he hand carves, and he hand makes. Each one of his brushes goes through 50 steps in creation. This is his goat hair synthetic, long. I think it's maybe 2 inches, maybe a little over 2 inches. When he makes these, the bristles actually come down into the handle almost 4 inches, he said. And each one takes 50 steps. I like this one. It's so lightweight. I got this when I had my very first hand surgery. I've had 4 since, but because it's so lightweight, it was like not even holding anything. I like the little notch on the end because I can hang it to dry, bristle down so the water doesn't go back into the barrel. There is no ferrule on the top, you'll notice that. And that makes it a little different, but it's a wonderful brush, holds tons of water, and has this fabulous point. And that's what I'm doing, my little squigglies here on this paper. I don't want to overdo that because I want to come in and actually kind of put some paint in there. I'm working on this for my granddaughter. She had purchased a painting. I'm trying to get away from that shadow, or maybe it's just the paint down here. I don't know. She had purchased a painting online and then was really super unhappy with it. She bought it off of Facebook Marketplace, and it didn't have the colors that she liked. It was a little too peachy orange for her. She wanted something more neutral. So she asked me if I wouldn't come in and try to do something for her. So that's what I'm doing. What the painting that she had purchased was acrylics, and I don't really do acrylics anymore. I just really like the watercolor. So I told her I would try, and the colors I'm using today are by Michael Harding. And they are, believe it or not, this is Potter's Pink. Now you wouldn't think Potter's Pink would be a beach for sand color or grasses on the beach. But I love Potter's Pink. I love the way that it granulates. I even use it in my tree trunks. And I know even that might sound a little bizarre, but you know, I just experiment as I go, and if I like it, that's what's going to happen. Now you see how this tip just allows me to dance on the page. I just love this. So this is my Potter's Pink, my Michael Harding version. And also added in the previous layers, you see these darker colors here. That was a little bit of my burnt sienna combined with my Potter's Pink to give it a little bit darker here at the bottom and give some of these strokes and maybe some root appearances, like they grow in, these little things grow in clusters down here at the, when you go down to the beach. So that's what we're doing here. If it's your first time watching me, thank you so much for being here. I have been painting in watercolor now for 5 years, which kind of surprises me. I started not really knowing much of anything, found some people to follow that I enjoyed watching, and kind of became my mentors as I went along. And I just love it. Watercolor is just one of my passions. I really enjoy it. But I haven't painted for a while on Follow Your Brush. I've been showing you some of the other things I've been playing with. So I thought today might be a good day to come back and do some painting for you. Excuse me. Not getting enough paint on this. I don't have... Hang on a second. Let me get some more water in here. There we go. I don't want it super dark, so I'm using what we call the tea consistency. We have tea, milk, and butter. But you like, when you're doing watercolor, you want to start out light, and then you can let it dry if you remember. If you can have the patience, that's one thing I'm working on. Let it dry, and then come back and add more details later. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm not really going to go all the way to these edges, because if she does choose to keep it, if she likes it, she might want to frame it. So I'm not going to go all the way to the edges, because, you know, that might be covered up with a frame, or she can find a frame to fit this, because this is a full size 22 by 30, and I don't know how conveniently you'd be able to find something actually in that size to frame. Let me wheel my chair down a little further and go to the other side here. Let this dry a bit. If I can get my chair to move. Get my wheels moving here. I did have this up on a large easel, and I just could not get the angle right on the camera. So I came back because the other one was just too far away. Now, this is dark. Yes, I see that. And I am going to come in with some water, and we'll kind of thin this out a little bit. And I'm also going to come in with my brush on the side of my brush and do some, well, it's not really dry brush, because the brush is not dry. The brush is damp, but it's not soaking. I mean, I'm telling you, this brush will hold the water. This brush will hold the water. And let me come in and do some little dribblies here too. So yes, I didn't ruin it. I promise. Did that on purpose. I just want to soften up some of this. When you come in wet on dry, it's going to cross and make some shadows maybe. You're going to have a little bit different of an appearance than when it comes in wet on wet. When you come in wet on wet, let me wet some in here and show you. Let's wet this. This is going to be a larger area of grasses growing by the beach. So as you can see, what I've already done is dry. I did this the other day. So it's not going to have quite the same effect. I'm going to come in here with my Dusty Rose. I keep calling it Dusty Rose. I'm sorry. Potter's Pink. Potter's Pink. And a little bit of this darker color. Now you see how that diffuses there? And where it's wet. So when you come in wet on wet, it's going to diffuse. If I bring my brush up, where the water has not gone, then I'm going to get these nice little pointy strands of grass. See how that granulation with that Potter's Pink? I really like that. I even use it in my trees. And I know you might not think Potter's Pink is appropriate for trees, but I think it makes a good foundation. I need some in here too. So I'm using Potter's Pink and a little bit of the burnt sienna to darken it. Sorry about that. Turn that off. The little alarm going off there. Everything's fine. Anyway, let me get some more grasses in here. I do want it a little bit, these kind of grow in clumps down here, so I'm not ready for all the details in here yet. I'm still kind of doing my first couple washes. I have another color here. I'm using Michael Harding. Did I already say that? I'm using my Michael Harding paints today. Like I say, these kind of grow in clumps. If you're familiar with Florida and the beaches, you'll know that not only do they grow in clumps, but they have little thorns and stickers. You get thorns in your feet. I'm going to spread out this water here a little bit and let that kind of dry like that. I like that. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. And now I'm going to, what do I want to do? Oh, let me show you something. Let me show you something. Some of you have been asking, some of my group members, how I have been using my quills and my dip pens in my painting. This is a bamboo quill, and I have been making some really fun marks in my paintings with these. And let me give you an example. What I'm doing is I'm going to wet it here, and then, oh my gosh, I wish my camera angle was better. I'm dipping this into my, I dipped it into my Potter's Pink. You see that? So that's pretty concentrated on this quill. But what I want to do, this is still damp, as long as you can, as it's wet, as long as the paper's wet, the paint is active. I'm going to come in here with this quill and just lightly come across my painting. I really like the marks I get with these. See, it's just kind of unpredictable. I'm going to get some granulation in there. Let's bring it up here and get some drier marks. I can always go back over it with a brush too if I want. But I want, this is where I want some of these little dainty little grasses coming up. And you hear that scratchy, it kind of scratches on your paper. Now if you're not, this is 300-pound paper, so I'm not really in any danger of scratching up, so as it were, the paper, because it's so thick. If this were 140-pound, you might be very careful how you use your quill and how much pressure you put on this, because it will scratch the paper. But I really like what I can do with these quills. And somebody had been asking that. I'm also learning about, now see, I'm also learning about dip pens. I don't know enough to be knowledgeable to give you an opinion. Let me bring in some of this burnt sienna here down at the bottom with my quill and see if I can help strengthen some of these colors here too, or some of these brush marks or grasses, is what I'm trying to say. I really like the quill. In fact, when my granddaughter was here a few weeks ago and we were trying just different brushes and pens and fountain pens, and I had her try the quill, and she made the comment that she almost likes it better than the brush, which I thought was interesting. So this allows me just to kind of bring some of these little grasses over here. And I can scratch a little bit if I want to. So that's about where I've gotten at this point with the brushes, with the quills. Let's do some of these over here too. See, it makes a really nice fine line. So I have been using it by actually dipping it into my paint and then bringing it over. Now the thing about the quill is, you might see it just happened with that one. It also holds a little bit of water in there. So as I put this little grass down, it also drops some water onto the painting. So I have kind of both. I have the diffused line, like a wet on wet, but yet at the same time I still get that little point. I'm just going to do a couple more. I'm not going to keep you all day because this painting actually is going to take me weeks if I behave myself and let it dry like I should. But I wanted to just pop in today and just paint a little bit. I haven't done that. I do have some other new things that I'm working on. As you know, I've been playing with inks, and I've been playing with my dip pens and fountain pens. And what I'm trying to do though is to incorporate the two, not just have them mutually exclusive. So I'm still working on that, and that's actually why why I got these quill pens, because I was hoping to incorporate that as well, and I like that. I like what they do. I like the marks I can get from those. But like I say, you do have to be a little careful that you don't scratch up your paper. That's a little bit wet, but this will work for now, actually. I'm just gonna, I just get carried away. Once I start going, it's hard for me to stop. Y'all like that? Do you start, especially if you're working on a big project, just kind of keep going. I don't have a reference photo in my mind. She showed me a couple pictures that she liked of what she was looking for, and having grown up in Florida and spending hours and hours and hours on the beach, I kind of have an idea in my brain already that is just permanently imprinted there from living there for so many years. And so I'm kind of also going by that. But thank you. That's all I'm going to do for the moment. Thank you for following and liking and subscribing. Follow Your Brush. I also have a Facebook group page that has over 700 members all over the world. We're the most wonderful, talkative, helpful bunch of artists. I love that group. If you have questions, they are there. We have all different types. We even have some professional watercolorists and oil painters in the group. And so if you want some place to go for inspiration and help, you can go there as well. I just happen to be the administrator of some fabulous people. Thank you again, and see you next time. Bye.